Hello and welcome to another Webflow community live stream. I'm your host, Nelson. Thank you for joining us today. A lot of people in the live chat already. People were waiting for almost over like 2 hours in the live chat. So thank you all so much for your energy and your enthusiasm to be here. But yeah, where are you all viewing from? So let's see here. We got someone from France, Baba's from Romania, Danny from Arizona. I'm just looking down the list. Albert from Canada. Paul's asking who's from Italy. Let's see here. We got Rhode Island. Lot of people. Yeah, thank you all so much for being here. We got UK in the house. Awesome. I love this global community, and I just love the vibe, the energy. So let's just keep it going. All right. So let's talk about what's happening on today's stream. Here's our agenda. First, we'll talk about three community announcements. Then we'll recap a little about last year's No Code Conf. Then we'll have the Q&A with our CEO, Vlad. And lastly, we're going to highlight some of our awesome community members. As always, if you have any questions for either Vlad, Stacy, McGuire, Lacey Kessler, Matthew, or Kyle during the stream, go ahead and ask it in the live chat, and our moderators will sift through the questions and we'll answer select questions live. Now, without further ado, let's bring Vlad onto the stream. Hi, Vlad.
Hey everyone, great to be here. Hey Nelson, happy to see you
Hello.
again.
Nice to see you too. Yeah. So I'm yeah, so
By
many
the way, I
people.
have to say, I know last time a lot of people were excited to for the live stream in December. I just want to thank everyone for their patience as I got sick a little bit and recovered. So super happy to be here in full health and just excited to spend more time with the community.
Yes, so glad you're healthy and you're back. I think I speak for the rest of the community that we're glad to see you and glad to interact with you again because yeah, we missed out on last quarter's stream, but now we're back. And
I'm glad to be here too. Very, very carefully trying not to say I'm Vlad to be here, just to get the ball rolling. But um, anyway, excited
there's
to
the
be
first
here.
one. There's the first one. Anyone in chat keeping
And
score?
I'm kind of starting to track the chat and starting to notice some things like container queries, and I'm just like, yes, let's kick off this year with awesomeness. Anyway, sorry, not to get ahead of ourselves.
It's okay. It's okay. I know
People are like,
we're
what?
all
No
excited.
container
There's
queries.
so many people are excited. WKD, Micah, Lisa is saying the bookshelf game is lit. Is that lit or fire for the Webflow team? Yes. This is a green screen, right?
That's right. We've invested heavily in this billion-dollar production of epic proportions. See, look, I'm like, there are no books back here. This is
Yeah.
all just a illusion.
Movie magic.
I I I'm so bummed that I missed the container query. Can't contain my. Anyway,
Oh,
let's keep going.
okay. I'll give you half point for that one. All right.
All right,
So
good.
again, so glad to be here with you and you, the community, for this first
Likewise.
stream of the year. So let's get started with our three community announcement. The first announcement is about these community live streams. Speaking of which, Vlad, remember when the early Webflow live streams, when they were
Ooh,
streamed from within a small storage closet in one of the first Webflow offices?
I don't even like to think. I mean, that was the good old days. It was a really tiny office, and that closet was literally just for Webflow shirts, stickers, office cleaning supplies. And we've definitely come a long way to this amazing setup that we have here, which is secretly on an island that we shall not disclose its location, but get cheap internet here. Um, but yeah, we've come a long way. I just feel a little bit bad for both you and I don't know who remembers here in the community, the first video that came out for education
Mm.
was Sergi, one of the co-founders. hiding in a different closet that was part of an apartment building where everyone stored their stuff, and people would, like, randomly come in.
Uh,
So we had to record in the nighttime, without anyone's permission and, like, stuck in this basically storage closet for a condo building. So to be here with, a growing community, this awesome setup, you, Nelson, is just, feels like the nostalgia almost doesn't feel real, right? That was like
yeah.
10 years ago, almost 10 years ago, where, we're just getting started, and to be here right now is, just a I don't know, I'm feeling a lot of gratitude.
Oh, awesome, awesome. Yes, it's been an amazing journey. And as for these streams, you see, these past 4 streams that we've done from this studio were just us getting started and situated for all the things we have planned. So I'm really excited to announce that we're going to be doing even more live streams than just these quarterly updates with Vlad. Our goal is to work up
Yeah,
to
these
a
ones with me are just really boring, right? You gotta pick it up with more energy and add more variety. I see where you're going here.
yeah, I mean, we got
You could
variety is
set
the
up a little.
spice of life.
That's right.
So our goal is
Was that
to
Aristotle? I think Aristotle said that, right? Okay.
yeah, I think so. We'll have to confirm. We need fact
Sorry to
checkers.
interrupt you. Keep going.
It's okay. But yeah, so we're gonna work up to a weekly cadence of streams with lots of different content like interviews with special guests, community member interviews, interviews with Webflow team members. We'll also do live support hours, build with me sessions like how to break the checkout card on apple.com, and even more. In other words, we've
We do
been
not condone
working
hacking. Just a reminder, legal disclaimer. Don't try
asterisk.
to don't try to break Apple site.
So we've been working on some incredible things to continually connect with you, the Webflow community. So keep on an eye on the Webflow forums, social media, and these announcements, and so you can see how you can get involved. All right.
Wait, so if I'm hearing you correctly, Nelson,
Yeah.
these live streams are about to get a lot more extreme. Extreme live stream? Extreme? No?
I'll give you a point for that. I'll give you
Okay.
a point for that. I don't
I
know
think I
who's
think we need like a band hammer with the um Stacy, I don't know if you're around. You can like mute me if you need to.
all right. Let's get on to our
Stacy's
second.
the new CEO, by the way. She holds all the power.
You heard it here first. That's actually the second. No, I'm just kidding. All right. Our second community announcement is we're launching a brand new course on Webflow University. And we're about to show you a never before seen trailer announcing this course. So, Stacy, can you please roll the trailer?
There are 4 tools. On their own, they're dangerous. But together, it's almost too much power. What if we could learn a workflow that combines all 4 of them? What could we build? What do you think?
Yeah, it's.
What's happening?
What could we build?
Okay, that's not
Power.
wasn't like that. It's different
Dangerous.
voice, vocal range.
And would it kill you to say Figma or Cinema 4D or After Effects or Webflow?
We do show 4 interfaces.
You didn't say it was a free course.
It's implied in
Wait, you didn't even say where to find it.
Webflow University. It's a
And
free
the word layer was misspelled every single time.
in After Effects. No, we got that.
Lawy?
Maybe it's for an attorney.
Just keep it simple.
Okay, 4 different tools.
Everything you need from design development to launch.
It's almost like you had that written down.
I came prepared.
Figma to Webflow.
Figma to Webflow.
I am so thrilled for this course, and I'm looking at the live chat while that trailer is playing, and it looks like everyone else in the live chat is thrilled. Grace Walker is here saying, "What?" People saying, "What? Yes! OMG! Lit! Really? Awesome!" Love the energy in the live chat right now. So just to recap, the course is simply called Figma to Webflow. In the course, you'll learn how to create low fidelity to design to mid-fidelity site design in Figma, make beautiful 3D assets in Cinema 4D, export a render from After Effects and Body Moving, and then build the site in Webflow and add interactions to it. It's basically a demonstration of one workflow to give you ideas on how you might evolve your current workflow. Vlad, I think that's your first time watching the trailer. So, what are your thoughts
First time
on?
seeing it. I'm experiencing with you all, and I don't think it's a Figma of my imagination, but I think it's gonna be awesome. Um, to me Hold on, I'm gonna let that one sit. To me, it's really bringing the power of visual development to so many more people. Like to
Yeah,
get designers to create visually and use the best tool for the job at the ideation stage, at the like building the idea of what you imagine, then bringing all the assets together into Webflow and going live to production. Ugh, can't wait to see the actual course. And I'm prepared for a lot of humor. That's
same.
Sato's gonna come prepared,
Oh yeah, yeah. It is.
dropping
Is
the dropping the jokes.
it is the brand of the Webflow education team. And yeah, so the full course will be launched on February 1st. So next week, you can pre-enroll for the course now
Gonna be a big
at
week.
university.webflow.com/figma 2-webflow. So go sign up today. Oh, amazing, amazing stuff. So for our last community announcement, uh Awwwards launched their annual awards site this month. And if you're not familiar with wait, is that how you pronounce it? Is it
It's no,
Awwwards?
it's just awards.
But there's
Awards.
there's like 3 W's. So isn't it like oh, like you oh, something cute? Like,
No, it's just awards. The last two W's are silent.
oh,
Awards. Like
okay.
I got an award. We got 2 awards. There are 3 awards. I won an
Got
award.
got it. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
So, awards is the best
I
place
mean,
to
it could
view.
be like a cute award, which you can say, "Aw, that's a cute award." It's 1
I
W, but yeah,
Is that one of the
2 words.
categories? Because I'll try to like. There's probably a lot of cats and dogs in there, but we'll check it out later.
I'd
Well,
be surprised if they have a cute category, but market opportunity,
there it is. There it is.
big
All right,
TAM there. Stands for totally addressable market, totally adorable market.
there it is.
Uh,
Business 101. There it is.
that's right.
So, awards is a place to view beautifully created
We're not gonna
website.
get anywhere in this stream. Let's just, you gotta cut me off, Nelson.
Okay.
I've been holding these back, and when you don't let off the steam, it's just like,
So, also,
it
fun
builds.
fact, this year's annual awards site was built using Webflow by fellow Webflow expert Granian. Plus, there are 4 websites built in Webflow that are in the running for Independent of the Year. And let's look at some of those now. So, for the first one, we have nicolomiranda.com. And everyone in live chat, if you have a chance to visit this page, it's so wild. I mean, even that first page load interaction, just it's so cool that it's like a newspaper style, and it's so fun to experience. Vlad, what is your take on this site?
Honestly, one of my biggest dreams when I was younger was to have a monitor that goes sideways that you can do kind of like a virtual view, and then I got one of those in when I got a professional job, and I never used that, and I didn't want to actually. This is the first time I saw an opportunity of like, hey, this site would look great in like a vertical newspaper, like it's just like something special about it where it feels in person and like
Yeah.
something you can like touch and interact with,
Yeah.
and just the custom illustrations just very, I don't know, it's so clean, and um I love it. I just want to pick it up and read it. That's
Exactly.
what it feels like to me.
I know. What it probably feels good like on a tablet.
That's right.
So let's go to the next site. Next site is by Joseph Berry. That's joseph-berry.webflow.io. And I really love his clean, high quality design style. And I like to think of him as the James Bond of no code. I mean, again, his initials are
Um,
already JB.
Nelson, I thought we talked about this. You called me the James Bond of no code like 2 months ago, which
Yeah, but his is more
I've
high
I've made, like,
quality.
name tags. I've had my kids switch how they refer to me, and now it's Joseph, like,
Just
we gotta
because
talk about
you
this.
label yourself that doesn't make you that. You have to actually walk the walk.
Fine, Joseph can have it. He's,
Great.
obviously got the skills that I don't.
Well, what do you think about his portfolio site?
It's gorgeous. I think Joseph has always brought, like, this beautiful, immersive, awesome use of motion that's not overwhelming, but tells a story. And I think back to the Goonies project that I think you find on the site that I remember just being blown away by just his approach to visually developing in Webflow. And I think he has an entire course on how he does this stuff.
Yeah,
And I don't know, to me, it's just seeing the boundaries of, where he's pushing the platform is really impressive, so
yeah, just
always
amazing.
inspiring.
Amazing. All right. Next one. The third one, John Way Studio. JONWAY dot studio. Yeah, this one, when I saw it, I was like, okay, this is different. This is different. This site has like a clean yet brutalist design style. It's odd, but it's nice at the same time. What are your thoughts, Vlad?
Yeah, I to me, this is like the intersection, of art and content and presentation and, it's pushing the boundaries of what a website could be. So I like you said, it's brutalist. I don't know how to describe it. It's got a lot of, unique aspects to it, which does the job. And I know it has even folds in Webflow e-commerce, and there's just a lot there. Not the same feeling I get from the newspaper view, where it's just a little bit more kind of what you would expect from a website presenting a lot of information, but like really shows the creativity and the um, just the
Yeah.
expressiveness of telling a story.
Yeah, it's amazing. And I was clicking around on his site, and I was like, "Wait, he also has Webflow e-commerce on?" Yes, yes. So, yeah, check out that site, chat whenever you have time. But
Is
let's
this the
go
technical term brutalist? Like the way that this okay, like futuristic? I like it.
something. So last one is Joe Moore's website. So that's JOMOR dot design, and this site is already on that large type trend that Charlie Marie was talking about in her 2022 Webflow design trends video that we produced uh, recently, and I love it, and I'm here for it. Vlad,
Yeah, it's very smooth and artistic. Kind of reminds me of Joseph style too, of revealing a lot, and playing with topography and interactions as you move around. So it's very clean, smooth page transitions. Keeps you engaged and busy, but not too busy or overwhelmed. So
yeah.
I really like it.
Yeah, so congrats to them. And also, there was one site that was built in Webflow that is in the running for site of the year. And that
Ooh,
is that first site, Nicolo's website. So again, check out all their
awesome! I wish we
sites.
had a applause track. So well deserved for sure.
Claps in chat, claps in chat. So his site is running for site of the year, and go ahead and check out these sites that we've linked in the live chat and the other nominees over at annual.awards. That's not awards, it's awards.com, and don't forget to
Actually, I
vote
think I'm coming
on your
around
favorite.
to words.
Yeah.
Words. But I
Aw,
think a lot of these sites are like wow, like a wow awards or something like that. If you're gonna go all literal. Um,
okay,
so
I'm
anyway, I don't know.
grabbing the domain name now.
I'm conflicted. Go check it out.
All right. All right. Next, we'll get into the Q&A with Vlad. But before we get into the submitted questions, I want to ask some questions. I want to ask some questions about Webflow's biggest event in Webflow history. And that, of course, is No Code Conf 2021. So, Vlad,
Actually, our biggest event was a celebration party for our launch 8 years ago in that aforementioned closet. Uh, bang for the buck. The most, if that didn't happen, Webflow wouldn't be here today. So I'm just joking. It was indeed the big.
okay. So, Vlad,
Just keeping you on your feet, Nelson.
uh, okay, there. So, Vlad,
I
now
love
that
it.
you
Taking
had
it
some
literally.
time,
True dad mode.
I'm just trying to keep up. So, you've had time to refresh, and reflect. Um, how did you feel about that event?
Ooh, that event was such a jolt of energy to the community, to the team inside of Webflow, and I know we had to make some changes in the last minute to go fully virtual, and had to be really, really safe with all of the COVID safety protocols throughout that event. There's a lot of things we had to change at the last minute to make sure we were being really safe. Um, but I am just so fired up at the energy that the community and the team brought during, just during that event. There's just so much with, um, NCC TV, the way that we did things live. There's so many great talks, and the feeling that we got from the community around all the things that we announced and the things that we're building and the future direction of the company, and that's just been like this sustaining, energy that just really fired us up to focus on, getting more things into your hands, into the community's hands, over this year, et cetera, and just, like, huge props to the entire team that made that happen, made all of those, made the entire event happen, made, all those product improvements and announcements happen. To me, it really was, like, a foundationally, like, chapter mark for Webflow's history, where we went from what the kind of historical focus was on, how we started traditionally as a website builder, into really showing our full vision for what visual development and true empowerment could be over the next decade. And to me, it feels like that jumping off point that is, really setting the momentum for so many great things to come.
Yeah, yeah. Like, what was it? The first one was 2019, and that was like planting the flag. Like, no
Mhm.
code is a thing, and
Yep.
now last
We
year
tried
was
to plant the flag, but the venue, wanted to charge us more for that because, like, destroys the ground or
true,
whatever.
true.
So, it was more of like a virtual flag planting
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Uh,
At least it was virtually planted. But
I'll give you that one.
thank you. So during the conference, you had a chat with Trevor Noah. So what were you thinking before you went to talk to Trevor Noah? What was going through your mind?
Whew, that's a whole, I think we can spend 20 minutes on that story, but long story short, I forgot my note cards with all of my questions the morning that I took off from my house to the Palace of Fine Arts, which is about an hour away, and I only realized while sitting in the lift, and, it's
Oh
the interview
no.
was an hour or 2 later, and the the only thing like, the visceral feeling I remember from that entire interview, like, is me rushing to try to get some questions on paper, and then as the interview started, the first time I ever met him or saw him, and mind you, this is one of the world's best interviewers, and it's the first
Yeah.
time I ever interviewed anyone, especially live. And it was the thing I remember is completely not being able to read. So I would look at my cards and I couldn't recognize my own handwriting. So it was you know, and I just got super nervous and stated that I was nervous, and he really kind of calm me down and started the conversation in a
Nice.
really organic way, and it's exactly that, it was a conversation from memory, to be honest, because I was so nervous, my mouth was so dry, I couldn't even read the questions, and it sort of went where it went, and I love that it turned into a conversation about empowerment and how to
Yeah.
bring like what kind of power and unlock getting access to technology to more people can bring. And that was, I barely remember anything about the conversation itself,
Yeah.
yet I'll remember it forever, just like the way
Yeah.
that it,
I feel like you forgetting your cards actually made it more honest and real,
yeah, the
It
actual
was like a
cards were
blessing.
like the actual cards are like, when is Logic shipping? Like all those questions that you all have for me, I was gonna ask Trevor just in case he knew. So they were gonna be like totally just throw him off and, just kidding.
Awesome, awesome. Well, yes, no code conf was an absolutely incredible event. I
I mean,
mean,
how did Nelson, you were front and center in that event. How did you experience, NCC? I'm curious.
yeah, that whole experience, it taught me a lot more about video pre-production and production because it was my first time on a live set that had cameras, teleprompters, camera operators, a floor manager, makeup, audio, production staff, and of course my incredible colleagues with me at the NCC TV desk. So I don't know, the conference felt so smooth and simple, and it brings me back to that thought I have when something looks so simple, it means that so much hard work had to be done behind the scenes to make it happen, and it was an amazing experience to be a part of. But my favorite experience though was the speed build challenge.
Yes, that was so awesome.
Yeah, because like ever since the first version of Webflow's interactions launched, I've wanted to show people how fun it is to build in Webflow that build things in Webflow that aren't necessarily websites, but just a new sandbox to play in and express yourself creatively, like back in the old Macromedia Flash days. And
Yep, like those days, you know what they say, here for a bit, gone in a flash. Poor
y-
Adobe.
you did it, and then it was a little trip, but
Yeah, no,
you
that one's like
finished.
that's, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. You gotta have some at bats before you have some home runs.
Okay.
It's,
Hey, no one bats a perfect game. Yeah, I get it.
yeah, my wife says, "Please stop playing baseball."
Mm.
Uh,
All right.
anyway,
Well,
let's keep going.
yeah. And so, anyways, I'm just so glad of the way it turned out. And I'm so proud of all the challengers that competed. But yeah, no code conf, so much fun. And I think I speak for everyone who's in the live chat right now. We are all ready. We can't wait for the next one. So
It's gonna be
speaking of
bigger and
which,
better.
yes, bigger and better. So, any thoughts on maybe streaming it from the International Space Station?
Uh, TBD. We'll come back to you on that one.
Okay, so we'll orbit and get back to it.
Yep. Let's get to the questions.
Okay, bring.
I don't know enough about, the International Space Station's rules for, like, I don't know, COVID policy and,
That's true.
uh
Okay, so we'll research that for everyone. But now let's get into the submitted questions from you, the Webflow
let's go.
community. All right. So we received a ton of questions from you all, and many of them to start were basically about what we announced back at No Code Conf with the general question of when is it all launching? Vlad?
Ooh, I see a lot of those questions kind of, coalescing. So first of all, most of what we announced is actually already in production. Things like backdrop filters, blending modes, you can use today. We already have hundreds of people using memberships, in beta, and we're expanding beta even further next month. We are getting a ton of great feedback from the people using it and want to get it just right, because we're learning a lot through that beta process, and want to make it look really, really good before expanding it. Um, just recently launched CMS improvements. Opened it up to everyone. I know a lot of just very thankful to a lot of the experts who were running it in some big sites, battle testing it, making sure that it's safe to go live across all of our users. So that went live. a few days ago, I think, and super proud of the team for delivering that. For collaboration, we talked a lot about that. We announced workspaces, and they're actually rolling out in the next few weeks. So remember, that was a combination of bringing team functionality into our account plans and making it into a single concept to really make it simpler to collaborate. And we're rolling it out over making sure that we're doing that exactly right. You'll hear a lot more in early February to make sure that there's a really seamless user experience. We'll be sharing a lot more documentation, steps to migrate, and all that information in a few weeks. Um, the only thing that's not fully available for people to play with yet, including experts, is Logic. And that's an entirely new pillar of software development that we announced. We're so excited to be working on that. There's still quite a bit of work to do to get it to that, get external users into actually getting value from it. So for now, please head over to webflow.com logic and sign up for early access as soon as we have that open. But our team is working really, really hard to get those foundations into place. And it's already working. It's just not ready for the kind of external input that we're opening up memberships to, et cetera. But it's
Yeah.
getting there. So I'm really, really excited to get that closer into beta. So sign up and you'll be the first to hear when it is available to the first cohort. That is, I think that covers the announcements at NoCodeConf, right? I don't know if I'm missing anything. Let me know if
Yeah.
uh,
I-
in
Yep.
the questions.
But people are all about like, like dates, dates, dates. Like, give us a date.
Yep, memberships around the corner, logic flows soon after that, and workspaces like literally going live in a couple weeks. So much on the horizon, and so much work goes into doing this the right way, that our team is just motivated and cranking on all cylinders to get into your hands.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like sometimes it could seem like we're really ultra secretive about things like launch dates, but for us, it's really, really important that this responsibility of earning customer trust and knowing that so many users across the world, not just users, but like businesses, agencies, entire teams relying on Webflow for production grade, like things. If things break, it's a big deal. So that means a lot to us, and that's what we're trying to get these betas and alphas into people's hands as soon as possible to unearth some of those things and learn more and get into a better state to fully launch to the team. So we just want to do that very intentionally, and memberships is one example of that, where we're learning so much from like the early group of hundreds of users who are put like battle testing it, that we just really want to make sure we get it right before really opening up, because things get much harder to change once it's in a lot more hands, because people
Yeah.
start to build actual sites that rely on the existing functionality. Right now we have a little bit more flexibility to move faster and make it like a really awesome product before opening up to more people. And honestly, the entire team here and like we just track what people are building, and we just can't wait to see more of like once we get this into everyone's hands. Um, Especially with memberships and especially with Logic, it's just so promising, the amount of power that is landing, that I know there's a lot of angst about like when, but this is a really intentional process for us. We just want to be really proud of what we're shipping and make sure that we are earning your trust, especially with so many businesses built on Webflow that just can't have that kind of quality concern.
Yeah.
So thank you for your patience.
We're getting there.
We're working our butts off to get it to you.
Yes. Yes. All right. This next question's from the live chat. Nick Blackman is asking, will the new Figma to Webflow course feature new content, i.e., not a recycling of courses organized into one? Will it have accompanying course material as well, like the AE, Figma files, etc.? Um, yeah.
I think so. I'm positive that it does. We always do, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if um,
Think I'm
I'm the
getting
most qualified to answer that question, but
getting
I'm getting some nods and in the on the education team. So yes.
yes. saying 100% all new, and yes, assets are included. So all new, yes. Um, oh, I might need to sneeze. That's the first time on stream. Ugh. Wait, what? Sunshine, sunshine, banana, sunshine. Okay, we're good.
That's what we meant when we said extreme streams. A lot more.
Okay. All right. Next question. This next question comes up in every Q&A session that we've had, and yeah, I want to ask it again because it is very important to a lot of people. The question is, are there any updates to multi-language in Webflow?
Whew, yeah, I think during the last live stream, I talked more in depth about, what happened before, and for folks who weren't there, just a reminder, after talking about it, I think a few years ago when we really I know I made it sound like it was something that we're actively developing, which we were at the time, and we had all the right intentions there. But in actually starting that building process, we realized how much we dramatically underestimated just the sheer technical complexity of what's involved, especially at a time where we had other really complex technical efforts like e-commerce that overlapped with our CMS, like surface area, the same way that multi-language does. And unfortunately, we had to make the really hard call to either ship something really basic and tacked on, which we weren't really willing to do in a way that we're really proud of, in the way that you would expect from Webflow to be for everything to be integrated, like our CMS and our UI tools, or decide to prioritize other efforts at the time, given just the limited engineering and product teams that we had. And do that in a way, though, that helps us prepare for multi-language support down the road. And that's exactly what we've been doing over the last few years, really investing in that low-level foundation, such as our data infrastructure, which you're already starting to see roll out with things like CMS performance improvements. That's all based on like the foundations we uh, built out earlier. The foundations for memberships and users is all based on the same underlying principles with our CMS, and things like going beyond 10,000 items. All of that work was foundational to start to unlock more of these things. That then sets the stage for adding native multi-language capability on top of those in the right way that you would expect Webflow to have it like throughout the entire product. So now we're at the stage where we're building confidence in that multi-language roadmap, exactly what it's going to involve and what it's going to look like. And I know people want dates, but I don't have concrete timelines to announce. But believe me, that we're so aware of the demand, and we talk to customers every day, and we see the desire for this capability to exist in Webflow. We just want to do it right, um, not just get something out there and check the box. We want to get it done the right way and get it to your hands. We just know that it's important, and figuring out ways to make sure that we do it the right way to deliver it to all the people who just can't wait to build a multi-language, and hope that you will all feel that it's really worth the wait once we reveal what we're doing, once we actually announce what it's going to look like.
All right. All right. Thank you. Next question from the live chat, Grace Walker.
Oh,
As you
Grace.
noted, your favorite Webflower.
Hey there.
She's asking for
Canada in the house.
2022, can Webflow release no code conf dates further in advance? I would love to plan to be there. Fingers crossed in person.
I would l I would love to do that, and it's generally going to be in the same time frame, but we don't yet have it all depends on the venue we find, the, other events that happen around that time, but generally, the plan is still to have it around those, a week or 2 before, Thanksgiving in the US. So sometime in November, is the time frame, but we're trying to get dates, settled as soon as possible.
All right. So set
And by the
PTO
way, that's
now.
all subject to change. Nothing is set in stone, given that not everything is in our control, but that's what we're shooting for.
All right. So set PTO now for the whole last quarter of this year. Got it.
That's right. Block it off. Just Webflow time.
Yes.
Um, love it.
All right. All right. Next question. What's an industry you think will struggle the most in the no code movement?
Hmm. I don't know if any industry will struggle per se. There's going to be more. It's just a fundamentally empowering technology, both for professional workers and for companies, freelancers, individuals, etc. I mean, some organizations going to take longer to adopt these tools because of just compliance reasons. You know,
Yeah.
we're already dealing with a lot of like diving in to figure out how things like GDPR, HIPAA, the things that have very kind of specific requirements for specific industries,
Mhm.
where it'll take longer to build those things in the way that, for example, supports healthcare or in financial service organizations that just have deeper requirements. But I think it's only a matter of time until no code tools catch up to what code based approaches can do. So I don't know if it's necessarily a, it can be a struggle for anyone, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah. Yeah. Even for those big organizations, you get it. I mean, like it.
Mhm.
How long did it take for, I don't know, like Microsoft Excel to be widely adopted in every organization?
I
You
think
know.
like
So.
200 years, most
Oh,
likely.
okay. So
Yeah,
Microsoft started 200 years ago. Today I
yeah,
learned.
yeah.
Huh.
I
Okay.
give
Well,
you my word that is accurate.
I mean, I trust your word.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's
Yeah,
move
they
on
used to be
to.
pretty terrible, now they excel at spreadsheets anyway. Keep going. Next.
Okay, I like that one. All right. Next question. Let's see here. From the live chat, Ezekiel is asking, have you considered implementing a multi-site hosting plan for agencies?
Ooh, that's a good question. Yes, we're considering all sorts of improvements and simplification to our pricing, and trying to find ways for agencies and service providers to have a lot more support and incentives to really bring Webflow to a lot more companies and people. And there's nothing super concrete there yet, but we are thinking about the best packaging that makes the most sense, that's simpler to understand and implement. It could We know that there's quite a lot of complexity with Webflow's pricing right now, and
Mm,
that's a super huge focus for us right now. Um, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's something to uh, encourage multi-site creation for, especially for service providers, the way that we're kind of thinking about it now.
okay. All right. Next question. Will you be adding the possibility of open payment gates for countries that don't support PayPal or Stripe? Thank you, Webflow. Heart emoji.
Love the heart emoji. Thank you, whoever asked that. We are currently very focused on building our infrastructure on top of Stripe, which gives us so many advantages. And it's great that Stripe is actually expanding very widely into many different payment options. Like recently, well, not, I think a few quarters ago, they added a lot more payment options in Europe, for example, that we're looking into surfacing in Webflow.
Hmm.
It just gives us huge advantages to just move faster and not try to reinvent the wheel, build our own set of payment abstractions. And as a reminder, we already support PayPal inside of Webflow e-commerce, but the current focus is still to build those payment foundations on top of Stripe and rely on Stripe going broader and broader into many more payment gateways. And we're always evaluating that. And right now, the way they're experts at this stuff way more than we are. We want to focus on creating these visual abstractions on top of the payment layers, which are becoming even more important with things like paid memberships on the horizon, with more focus on e-commerce, with more of the abstractions that are going to go beyond these vertical use cases and into all kinds of ways to think about payments inside of an application that you're creating or a website that you are, or a process that you're running. So um, it just gives us a lot of advantages for speed. Like, just to give you a trade-off that we think about internally, right? Yes, we can go focus on creating our own abstraction over payments to really open it up to any option.
Hmm.
The trade-off is simplicity and also just our attention to not focus on somewhere else, like
Yeah.
multi-language, right? It's always a trade-off between real things that feel really important, and I really empathize with everyone that wants more payment options and wants to, open up their stores and their experiences and soon memberships into a lot more countries and locales, et cetera. And it's really top of mind for us. Currently, the strategy is still focusing on leveraging just the speed and scale of partners like Stripe to make sure we're bringing as many options as possible and servicing them to our community. So
Mhm.
that's hopefully that makes sense.
Totally does. As with all things in life, it's a balance. It's a balance.
It's a
Next
balance.
next question: are you concerned at all that Wix's Editor X is a newly rising competitor for Webflow?
I get this question quite a lot, and I'm honestly, I feel very strongly that the more options there are for people and designers and agencies and companies, the better. Like it, I know I'm a broken record at this point, but I keep saying that a rising tide lifts all ships, and competitive dynamics, whether they're like directly competitive or not, um, just help all products get better. And no solution really is perfect for every use case. Like you can, especially even in sort of the concrete web designer space, and all these platforms can live in harmony because the space is so huge. It's not a zero sum game where somebody getting more users or more adoption actually means that someone else is not, because the whole goal here is try to get more people to create for the web, not just consume
Yeah.
on the web. And that is a huge challenge that we're so far behind on. So the more the better. So try try out Editor X, try out Squarespace, try out others, pick the best tool for the job. Uh, we still think Webflow is the best choice for a huge number of businesses because of its power and flexibility and the creativity that you have and the community. Like, so good luck rebuilding this community. This community is so awesome that it's a huge advantage to being a Webflow builder or building with Webflow. And while we serve small businesses and freelancers and agencies and all the way up to huge enterprises, I mean, that's why we have like Dell and Discord, and I mean, even huge companies you probably might not expect, like PricewaterhouseCoopers. I still need to remember how to pronounce that, and probably a ton more that we've signed NDAs that probably forbid me mentioning, but I just think that the more options there are, the more people will actually have their needs met, and we're very confident in what we're building, and it's great to actually have worthy competition that helps us level up, and they learn from us, we learn from them, and there's hundreds of players in the space, and game on. Like we just want to build something that empowers more people, and the more people are doing that, that is it's not a zero sum game. So
Yeah. Yeah, totally agree. All right. So the next one is more of a general sentiment. Now, after No Code Conf 2021, a lot more people have become exposed to the no code movement, which is great, but there are still those who have been commenting on our YouTube channel that seem to be confused by the term no code and the movement. Can you quickly explain why we aren't set out to remove developers from the web or their jobs?
yeah, I think this is a little bit of an unfortunate naming for the term no code. You know, in a shallow, just at first blush, it sounds like there's no code at all. And I know I've talked about this a lot of times, but there's always going to be a need for developers to build with code, to build the next generation of tools, to build no code tools themselves, to do all the things that no code tools or visual development tools just don't have the capacity to do, whether yet or ever. There are many engineering problems that the best solution will always be code. And the awesome thing with no code technology is that it actually empowers 100 times as many people to start creating websites and software. That only leads to more demand for developers. It's almost like the fear that people had about spreadsheets and Excel back in the day, where programmers were saying, well, because these things can do it visually that replaces what we currently do with code, that means that there's going to be less need for programmers. But the
Yeah.
direct opposite happened. You empower more people with technology, it only leads to unearthing and solving even more important problems that then you need engineers for. So it's not a it's the beautiful thing about no code is that not so beautiful on the, like, the naming front and what it implies to some people, but the beautiful thing about it is just by empowering more people, you're actually bringing more demand, to classical software engineers,
Yeah.
and in many ways, like, Webflow itself is such a, close abstraction to coding that a lot of people are learning the principles and even the practices of
Yeah.
coding, at least behind HTML and CSS and JavaScript, that then lead them to become, more sophisticated software engineers, and use, code-based tools, etc. Um, so to me, it's more of a messaging and like a constant reminder that we're not out to, as an industry, we're not out to destroy jobs or take anything from anyone. We're actually giving that power to a lot more people, and through that, actually freeing up like classically trained developers to work on more important and like deeper and
Yeah.
harder and more interesting technical challenges, rather than like translating a Photoshop file to HTML and CSS or something like that. Like
Yeah.
we are elevating the game where we're just getting more and more people to do important, meaningful work, that brings value to the world faster and like solves problems faster, etc. And I don't know. To me, it's there's I haven't seen anything actually negatively manifest from the no code movement, despite the name, and what some people walk away with as the first impression. But it only creates more livelihoods and more ways for people to start a new career, make a living,
Yeah.
if they're traditionally haven't been writing code or don't want to, and it elevates the need for software engineers. Win-win.
Exactly. Yeah.
All boats
Exactly.
rising. Oh, sorry. All the boats floating up, or whatever usually say. The
Rising
the
tide
tides of
lifts.
winter, the Tide detergent causes boats to float. Anyway, rising tide lifts all boats. There you go. Hopefully not too high, because then then
A
there's
rising
like
tide
waves and stuff and
washes
tsunamis.
all clothes. Got it.
There you go. There
All
you
right.
go.
So for a
Don't eat
more
Tide Pods, kids. Just
for a more concrete example,
I have
check
teenagers
out
now, so that's what I have to,
check out
like.
a blog post written by our director of product design, David Huang, about his journey from knowing code to no code. Matthew will link it in the live chat and we'll also put it in the YouTube description after this stream. All right. Next question is all about CMS speed and scalability improvements. So we've just launched that last week, and this person wants to know, can we expect more CMS features this year?
Yes. Um, there's already a lot, that we're, have shipped or on the way to shipping. So, across faster load times, more complex builds, getting performance into a great space, especially for sites that have a lot of items. Um, those only are like the first stepping stone into our investments into CMS. And remember, CMS is such a core critical part. It's like that the foundations of the data pillar in software engineering, and are at the heart of things like users in memberships, at like building more sophisticated websites and applications in the future. So all that to say, yes, a lot more coming there. We're scaling to larger CMS databases, and honestly, like the as we look at that roadmap, the sky's the limit. There's just so much, and we're thinking about how to make that, not just the CMS, but the UI layer and the logic layer extensible by other people, whether it's creators in Webflow or developers externally. There's so many exciting things that are happening there that I just can't wait to reveal to the world. And I, I really just want to reiterate, this is just the early foundations. And I know we built our CMS 5 years ago, but originally it was like for the purpose of this more like website use case where there's usually not a lot of items. You're powering blogs and things like that. And the work that we've done at a foundational layer foundational level over the last couple of years is really setting us up for some big things. Um, I'm actually
Big
kind of giddy thinking about like all the things that we can't announce yet, and just looking forward to more improvements there.
big things ahead. All right, this next live chat question is from Anjali, and this person's asking, "What are workspaces?"
So a lot more. I think we have some blog content already that starts to introduce those concepts. But workspaces are essentially a new concept that we are merging the idea of Webflow teams and Webflow accounts, things like personal plan, professional plan, into one concept. Workspaces that really simplifies this idea of working with other people and making it really easy to switch from become working solo to getting other people into the process, whether people on your team or if you're an agency with potentially customers or clients and things like that, and really lowering that barrier of not having to think of going from personal, like from an individual account to a team plan or something like that, where there's a whole conversion process, just one concept. Simple workspaces that scale with what you need, and really start building the foundations of like true collaboration around websites and applications built in Webflow that go far beyond just the ability to um, publish or have edit permissions, etc. Like we're starting to think about how people are going to all kinds of people, whether they're product managers or marketing teams or clients that come in and give feedback or have people have deeper control over what certain people can and can't do, like publishing rights, especially as you work with clients or have like much larger organizations where permissions are really crucial. So workspaces are the foundation for
Yeah.
that, to make sure that we have a way to think in a collaboration first way,
Hmm.
in just structuring where sites and projects live. And then from there, there's going to be a lot more functionality on top of workspaces with things like roles and permissions to give a lot more control over who can do what, things like that. So
All right.
just the beginning.
Yep. It's beginning for a lot of things. We are working on so many big things, and yeah, it's just the beginning. All right. Next, a live question from the chat from John Lilly. What's your opinion of WordPress's Gutenberg update?
It's a good question. I mean, it's not just a singular update. They've been working on it for a long time, right? I think it's a really smart move to move more into like a block based approach for editing. From what I understand about it, it's very in many ways we think of it quite similarly in the way that our CMS rich text fields um, are currently architected, the way that you think of Webflow's ad panel to try to make that extensible over time so that others can drop in elements and pre-built blocks that have functionality behind them. There's so many conversations about richer sliders and being able to bind data to
Mm,
specific things that are currently only static, and that is similar to what Gutenberg is doing.
yeah.
Is the direction we're going in as well, where there's a lot more richness to kind of the blocks that you can create and build with Webflow, and expanding
Mhm.
that capability. So it's not just us that are creating those, but I think it's really kind of that's where the future is, like more discrete building blocks
Yeah.
that don't require you to know all of this complexity to build like a layout or build a digital experience, etc.
Got it. Yep. All right. Two last questions, and we got to wrap things up. So Webflow, during NoCodeConf, donated $250,000 to the Girls Who Code nonprofit organization. And out of all the nonprofit organizations out there, can you quickly explain why you chose this certain initiative?
It's a good question. I know I've gotten a few questions privately around like girls who code, no code conf, what's going on?
Yeah.
But ultimately, it's the same exact mission. Like, we have such um, similar goals about giving access to those that want to learn to build for the web, whether that's through code, whether that's through no code, it's all interrelated. And like I said before, Webflow is in a certain way like a different way to code. It's like an abstraction over
Yeah.
code. And the most important thing is that we're actually enabling people to create production things that you can then go build a business around, monetize, or sell content services, et cetera, and make a living. And Girls Who Code has a very, very similar mission where just want to change that dynamic of only one out of every 200 people know how to create for the web, and most people are
Yeah.
just consuming. So it's very in line with ours, and we felt that there was a lot of shared principles, and just so excited to look for even more ways to partner with them. And they have an amazing team, and we're already working closer together to figure out how we can bring the power of software development to more people
Yeah.
faster because it has like such tangible benefits to so many people.
Yeah. Agreed. So last question, the hardest one out of all of them. Here we go.
Uh-oh.
What are your top 3 favorite puns?
Who I gotta be honest, I can't be put on the spot with pun things like that. Like I almost the way my brain works, it can only react to things that are happening and they just sort of come out of the blue. But I literally, when you ask me that question, I can't remember any puns. The only thing I can think of is the thing I use all the time with my daughters whenever
Okay.
they say something was intense. I'm like, you know what else is intense? Camping.
Yeah.
That's the only one I can think of.
Yeah.
Other than
Well,
that, they have to come in the moment.
that's
So
true.
I'll have to defer to the other 2. I'll defer to the other 2 because 'cause they're silent, just like the W's in awards.
Okay. Yeah, that's something that we've all learned, everyone in the live chat. All right. Well, thank you all for your questions. Everyone in the live chat, thank you so much for your questions. Everyone who tweeted at us on and commented on Instagram and also commented on our Facebook group. Thank you all so
Ooh,
much.
I love this, comment from Morella about girls who design no code in the Floxy's community.
Yeah,
I
there
just
you go.
let's bring all 3 together. Sorry for the
Yes.
interruption. Just
No,
was
no, it's okay.
fired up by that.
Yes, that would be awesome. All right. So now it's time to give a few props to those in the community who are helping enrich our community. So, first prop goes to Jonathan Holden for starting the Web Flowers podcast. Yes, it's pronounced Web Flowers. And it's because his first question for all of his guests in his podcast is, what is your favorite flower? He has 5 episodes published so far, and I hope he does many more so we can continually learn from each other. Check it out at webflowerspodcast.webflow.io. Next, second prop goes to Melissa Mendez, who is such a big fan of Webflow and decided to start teaching more people virtually. She started a Twitter hashtag of Webflow Party, and the next one will be
What's a
this
party?
Saturday.
Not the one that happened in that closet, 9 years. This is a way better party.
Yeah, it's gonna be bigger than the one in that closet. So can one of our moderators share the registration page in the live chat, please? And yes, we'll put it in the YouTube description too if you're watching recording of this. But yeah, so check that out. And last prop goes to Cameron Emitias. He has built 12 projects that are available for cloning for free. One of which is my favorite. It's the Stripe Mega Menu. And it's always cool how we can level each other up with these clonables. So that's really cool. And thank you so much to Camran. You can check him out at webflow.com/Camran and Mitias. Again, all these links will be in the YouTube description below. Vlad, is there anything else you would like to add for these props?
Uh, I'm just always inspired by the awesomeness of the Webflow community. I mean, from Jonathan to Melissa to Cameron, like mega, mega props. That's not a mega menu pun, I promise. Um, just huge props for supporting other people, inspiring other people, getting other people a sense of community, and like really showing how much you care about others in the community and adding value to other people. It's just, to me, that is the magic of this community.
Yes.
So makes me so happy to see that stuff.
Yes, yes, I agree. Now, before we wrap things up for this quarter's community live stream, Vlad, any other final thoughts for the rest of the community?
Ooh, just at the risk of repeating myself, huge, huge thank you to this community. We continue to be really inspired and many times convicted and pushed and very, very in awe of the things that this community is doing. So thank you for all the energy. Thank you for the energy you brought during NCC, just the encouragement, the enthusiasm, the like really good questions that help us refine what we're building. NCC was such a huge moment for us, and like I said, it's just the beginning of a big new chapter that feels like the best way to kick it off. And can't wait for the future. Can't wait to spend more time with you all. Excited about more live streams and seeing how those evolve. And again, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the awesome community members that are building on Webflow and trusting so much to the hands of our company and the people who are working here. And it is our one of our core behaviors is earning customer trust, and it's our duty to make sure that we keep earning your trust. And it's just such a deep privilege to be able to do that for such an important for what we feel is a really important mission. So appreciate you all, and appreciate you, Nelson. You're like the spark of that early community, and I'm so glad that we're 9 years later having this kind of conversation. So
Yes.
um, that is just the magic of this community.
Yes, yes. Yeah, everything you said, Vlad. Thank you so much. Thank you to the entire Webflow team for everything you have done for the no code community. And most of all, thank you to you, the wonderful humans who are watching live and conversing in the live chat, and to those who are watching the recording of this. We appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time. And as always, make the web beautiful together. See ya.
Bye, everyone. Thank you for joining.